Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summer presentation of the Star Ladder I-League Chinese Best of 2 series between KYXY's Thunder Robot Gaming and FTD.B. We already got to see the C squad going up against Tongfu earlier. Unfortunately, two spoilers, they got 2-0'd by Tongfu, and yeah, they're not looking too good in their group. But FTD.B, looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. They bring a lot more of an aggressive style, the way they run their support duos and stuff like that. They get really involved. So, should be at least some very good games, and we get to see what KYXY is up to. He's not captaining the team, but he is one of the key members of the roster here of TRG. So, without further ado, let's get into the draft. I'm myself and Blaze, and we're looking at a Shadow Fiend first pick here. And yeah, it should be a pretty easy response to go with the Slaughter and the Winter Wyvern. Two heroes that I would say synergize with Shadow Fiend more than most others. The Dazzle's still pretty solid though, and that's going to be a great grab for TRG for their second pick. As far as heroes that were taken out of the pool, the Undying Night Stalker, the Doom, and the Tusk all make a lot of sense here, especially up against FTD.B. James very frequently runs the Night Stalker and tries to pick it up for phase 1 so he can roam around with it. So I can definitely see that being a pick here that you don't want going up against your SF. Your Dazzle doesn't want to constantly have to rotate in lanes and shallow grave your SF under heavy fire. He's not going to get farmed that way. So overall, just a good opener, and shows that both teams have a pretty decent understanding of one another. So moving into phase 2, we've got ourselves a Wind Ranger ban. Obviously the Slaughter amp damage with Wind Ranger can be pretty crushing, but I'm worried a little bit about the Gyrocopter pick. Of course, FTD.B have first pick in phase 2. They can snap grab that Gyrocopter, and it'll work really well with the Slaughter and the Winter Wyvern together. So I think that might be something that Thunder Robot Gaming have to look to ban out, or they're going to be at least at a disadvantage in terms of the 5-man between the two teams. So they have obviously some good farm potential. Not as much if SF was on Radiant, but still, at least you get probably the hard camp stack out for you, and you have the weave potential for your fights. Juggernaut's going to be the other band, though. We're worried about that a little bit more than the Gyrocopter. Of course, Juggernaut, you get the Arctic Burn to set up the spin in lane, and then in fights, maybe a Crush can enable you to get a really good Omni Slash off. So obviously some great potential with that as well.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
Darkseer going to be banned out by FTD.B, followed by the Gyrocopter themselves. They grab an Ember Spirit, and yeah, that's a pretty interesting pick in context. But with Dazzle lacking Disable, Ember Spirit already gets a little bit of free reign over the map here, and could just maybe farm the safe lane. Ember Spirit against SF. It's a pretty hard matchup, I would say, for the Ember Spirit. While the Flame Guard can be kind of equal to Raises in terms of the back and forth there spell-wise, just overall, the fact that Shadow Fiend has that heavy right-click damage as his soul builds up, and the Ember Spirit has such a low base armor value, I gotta say, I don't feel confident Ember sitting in the mid. So I'd rather see Ember on the safe lane, and that would be him with the Wyvern up against a Beastmaster. Beastmaster is a pretty interesting grab for phase 2, and specifically for the third pick here. Some teams prioritize that hero a lot more than others, but here it seems to be something that maybe TRG just feel a little bit more comfortable with. Looking at their... well, we don't actually have much history on them. The only Dota buff entry, at least, is actually a single game in the Summit, which I believe I cast, them versus Newbie Young. So if they have other picks, it's not listed here. And that's unfortunate, but oh well. Yeah, we'll be looking into the Beastmaster off lane. Obviously has some good push potential. This couldn't be a level 1 Roche, right? Presence of the Dark Lord, Inner Beast, and then the Shadow Wave heals from the Dazzle. It's like a super push strat, you know? But no, it's probably something a little bit more cut and dry. Just going in and having the Roar for the Ember Spirit to kind of lock him down if the overstays is welcome. The Beastmaster getting a Blink Dagger will be really important for that. This kind of seems like a draft where you could start running Wisp, but I feel like there are some weaknesses to that too. While Beastmaster sets up the Wisp really well for relocates, Dazzle gets the double heal out of the tether, it still the Slaughter and the Winter Wyvern that you're worried about, right? Like, you're going to be, if you ever relocate offensively, you're going to be putting yourself in a position where the Wyvern might respond with a Winter's Curse, and the Slaughter, of course, with the Crush. So they go for a different tack. They just keep on going for this push. They are going full Deathball mode. Shadow Fiend's going to pick up a Mechanism. Beastmaster, Necronomicon. Dazzle and Jakiro will just look to sustain the creep waves while knocking down the towers quickly. And Jakiro also is really good against TA, so I actually like that. I feel like TRG are going to be on a time limit for this game, though, because they don't have any great way of controlling the Ember Spirit beyond just that Beastmaster Roar. So I would say that in general, they want to go ahead and start pummeling the towers very quickly. And I'm curious what the best hero they think is for that. Luna is a rarely picked but very solid lane pusher with her Lunar Blessing aura. And she's the Wind Ranger pan. I'm not sure. I mean, Klink's is still pretty solid in that capacity too. They very clearly want to knock these towers on. Could go for the Lone Druid. This is actually a hero that they picked up a month ago in the one match that I have to work with for information on them. KYXY actually ran a safe lane Lone Druid. And fortunately, it didn't work out for them, but maybe they could run it again. Lone Druid, Jakiro, Beastmaster, Dazzle, SF. I think it really is just one of those hard push lineups that can end the game quickly. Lycan and Lone Druid being the two melee pushers, really, more than any other. But FTD Club B, they're going to be picking first in this final phase. They don't get the Earthshaker option. Obviously, that would be a great high ground defender. But there are a couple other heroes that can turtle pretty well. Keeper of the Light is actually really solid in this situation. They have to know they're up against heavy push. So, while Tree and Protector isn't great against Jakiro's Liquid Fire, the Keeper of the Light clearing out the creep waves could be pretty solid. That's the only hero I really think would be excellent in this situation. The others are kind of so-so. I mean, they could run still dual lanes, get like a Bounty Hunter, and try to gain gold momentum through track if TRG's push ever fails them. But I feel like you have to look for something more defensible. They go with the Bounty Hunter anyways, so there we go. The big problem, I think, with the Bounty Hunter here is everybody's going to be pretty naturally tanky. They're going to go for... they have, obviously, the Shallow Grave from the Dazzle. You're going to have the Mech early on the SF. Everybody should be pretty survivable right about the time that track comes online. So you're going to have to really work for those kills. But if you can find them, obviously you get a lot going for you. And like I said, James, this guy loves to gank lanes. He loves to be involved on the map early, so this is the hero for him. And Naga Siren is going to be the pickup for KYXY. Of course, we have plenty of history of this guy on the hero. We've seen him do some marvelous things with her. He's not really renowned for his Illusion Micro, but he's always been a solid Naga picker. So... just looking at it overall, his Naga Siren, 31 official games, 83.8% win rate. Almost 84% win rate. That's actually insane. Loses very infrequently with the hero, and obviously he's just going to be looking for that Radiance momentum. So while there is still a lot of tower push, and they're going to be getting tower advantage, I still think they're okay with bringing this mid to late game, now that they've got the Naga in their hands. But we'll see. Right now, let's go ahead and introduce the two teams here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Camera. Work with me here. Hitagi, going to be running on the Winter Wyvern. We've got James on the Bounty Hunter for position. You've got this Ember Spirit here. Had his name memorized yesterday, but it's eluding me at the moment. We've got Templar Assassin running for the lower bounty rune. She's going to be taking the middle lane, and that will leave top lane to be picked up by the Slardar. I love this item build. I don't think you really go any other item build on a Slardar off lane these days. It just pretty much is the quintessential sustain that'll get you to Tranquil Boots nearly guaranteed. Oh, Dazzle all by himself here. Two heroes on the low ground, and they know it. They might just be able to kill him off. At least force him to skill Shallow Grave here. And that's going to be 5 seconds as he starts taking down. They dust to keep James off him, though, and that won't be the first blood. He'll just be sitting on a kind of a dead skill point for a little while. As we see the fight break out heavier, but the Arctic Burn's already gone, and he only hit the Dazzle as far as I know with it, so now they don't really have the wherewithal to fight, and Naga's coming in. KYXY ready to rumble here, finds here the TA. Doesn't want to go for Ensnare and probably wouldn't get much out of it, but they will force her off the bounty rune, and maybe even force... Nah, they'll save the bounty top for TA, but they won't get a creep block here in mid, and that's a pretty big deal. While Nier and the Beastmaster are already getting to work on that, we're actually going to see that the creep wave is completely missed in terms of block until the last moment here for James. So Creep Equilibrium going to be favoring the Dire side. They get their Sentry down early against Bounty Hunter to make it more difficult for him to roam on mid. And just overall, I think MMC is pretty happy about how that played out. He's going to be sitting on 5 tangos here, and he already sees the Bounty Hunter is going to poke him back. We do see Bounty Hunter tangoing the Sentry as they exchange blows back and forth, and that means that now MMC is going to be a little bit less comfortable. But he can do the exact same thing. That's why you bring 5 tangos to the lane, is so that you can not only regen HP with it, but he can eat the ward and take the lane back a little bit. So there it goes. Easy peasy. And now he's going to be able to see when the Bounty Hunter roams in very easily. Actually, just looking at Dire Vision here, it's going to be right there that he sees it, and it might actually be a little bit too late. The Orb of Venom coming through, they can deliver a couple more shots, and this will be the death of MMC here under tower. Very unfortunate. Or it would be, but a Perfect World lag doesn't paint the full picture, so it does look like they weren't able to get that last hit in. Yeah. That's awkward. What?
First blood.
How bad am I lagging that that just happened? Like, I don't even know. Did we, like, watch his ghost walk around for a little bit? I'm really confused as to what Perfect World is trying to tell me here. Unfortunately, this is one of those times where the Great Firewall of China keeps me from seeing all the information, but we're going to see a little bit of a skirmish down bottom with Nier taking a lot of hits here, and James looking to just last hit that. Shallow Grave or not, it looks like Nier is going to be going down, has a TP scroll, going to try to hide in the trees, but yeah, Orb of Venom taking down, and that's going to be a kill. Now, Ember Spirit catching out the Dazzle with the chains, but doesn't have that killing blow. 17 HP left on the Dazzle. Now, guys, this is not your stream. Do not adjust your television set. Unfortunately, we do have just one of those weird times where Perfect World doesn't feel like playing along with the ISP, and that happens a lot with Western casters in general. It hasn't happened so far tonight, but, you know, first time for everything. Still gonna try to do the best I can with the play-by-play here. Yeah, so right now we've got an active tri-lane down bottom. This leaves a 1v1 matchup, the Slardar and the Beastmaster. Oh, nice Courier snipe from James here. Just grabbing it here in mid as the SF tries to start bottle crowing, or maybe it was on its way back. Hard to say. I mean, it would have to be, right? It doesn't have any items. So, made its delivery of the bottle, and then he grabs it right back the other way. Has a Sentry Ward now back on the lane, and another one available, but I wouldn't say he's too happy about the Courier getting sniped there. Good momentum for the Bounty Hunter. A lot of heroes will just generally keep the Courier under the Tier 2 tower, or wait until at least 3 minutes before you actually bring your bottle out to you. Otherwise, it's very likely to be killed if the Bounty Hunter has been missing. So, KOXY having a jolly good time. Going to be at CS of 16 and 2, while MMC is sitting on 19 and 1, at least for the moment. Might get harassed out without the ability to bottle crow. We'll see. In the meantime, up top, it's actually pretty interesting here. 15 and 3 versus 13 and 0. Slaughter is edging out the Beastmaster slightly, but it's a pretty close matchup between the two. And actually, Slaughter's going to go for some sustain here to try to duke it out a little bit better. So, unfortunately, the Winter Wyvern doesn't really have much he can do here. He's got Cold Embrace level 1 in case too much damage is flying out, but most of this damage is magical. Just the Dazzle Heal Bomb is really something that you can really negate with the Cold Embrace easily. So, all in all, just a very defensive posture from the Wyvern. He's not going to be able to gank the mid lane, and he's going to leave that to the Bounty Hunter for the most part. Speaking of which, Bounty Hunter comes in, grabs that Sentry Ward, and clears out the mid lane, forcing MMC back to the fountain, because again, he can't bottle crow. So he'll TP out with boots and a stick. It's not a terrible situation for him to be in, but not ideal. And TRG already has Arcane Boots picked up, which is going to not only allow him to spam the heck out of Riptide, but sustain his allies who are going to start pushing harder and harder on this tower. And then, of course, later on, he's going to be able to disassemble those boots into the Octarine core when he picks up his BOTs. Templar Assassin DD Rune, looking to just really manhandle MMC. Now you're going to see the TA pull ahead dramatically at this point in time. Ember Spirit's just trying to get CS, but could be a pretty dangerous spot for him if he goes too far forward. You're seeing he's suffering quite a bit. 8 and 0 on this Ember Spirit. Not a grand time for him. At least there's no catch potential, even though he's not level 6. There is only 1 point in Snare. The level 1 Dual Breath is not going to be really enough to kill off this Ember Spirit. So while he's not farming, at least he's not feeding, you know? He's going to at least survive to get experience and maybe be a bit more confident at level 6. So they're going for this 2-1-1 build. He's got some catch of his own with that long-range Sleight of Fist reach, and of course the Searing Chains that go for 2 seconds. But all in all, I gotta say that he's not having a good time. Radiant are going to be just putting a ward out here. If it was any further south, it would be blocking the spawn, but I believe this should still be spawning here. And yep, no problem. He'll still get the stacks, but this is scouted out, and it's something that's the Radiant might look to contest. We're actually going to see a catch here on the Shadow Fiend. Nice haze grab by the Slardar, and with the Bounty Hunter's help, that's a kill on MMC. Dazzle's trying to come in and help with the Shallow Grave, but it's just too little too late. This also frees up space for the Ember Spirit, who's now 1v1 against the Naga Siren. Now, if we actually look at the matchup here, later on, as the Battle Furies come out for the Ember Spirit, he's going to be a little bit better off against Naga, because if you catch her right when she's casting Mirror Image, you can just kill off all the illusions at once. Up top here, Nier actually a little bit too far forward, gets caught out, and that physical damage just crushing him. Really good play from the Slardar, but a little exposed from the Jakiro, who's just too slow at 290 base MS. If the Jakiro has boots there, he's safe and sound under tower, but that's just not the case. And now we see KOXY actually getting caught out as well. So MMC going to come in and at least get a return kill on the Winter Wyvern, but that still makes it a 5-1 kill score in favor of FTD.B. Slideshow Dota, boys. Can't really do much about it, but we'll do our best. So, yeah, KOXY feels a lot better about just going up top and farming there. She's got naturally 8 base armor, so it's going to be okay for her to fight against the Slardar to a relative extent. She's still going to need like the Ring of Aquila out for more armor and maybe even get a little bit more HP regen before she rushes the Radiance. Dazzle limps back to base, but he's got his boots and his TP, which is more than Jakiro can say. It looks like Jakiro is actually forced to play the 5 position here, which is really awkward. When you have... No, they're actually... Why is this Jakiro so poor? I don't... He's got 450 gold on him. He's just... I don't know. Not really been able to do much to this point. So we're going to see a nice little jump here, but the heal bomb might help turn it around. They will lose Jakiro, but maybe they can get Bounty Hunter instead. Killing spree for James, but the Riptide will be enough to kill off the Bounty Hunter, and Slardar can't save his ally. We do see Ember Spirit coming in, all the Remnants, all 3 Remnants coming down in the chains, locking down the Dazzle, but that will be song number 1, bailing the Dazzle out, and there's no way for the Ember Spirit to chase him down now. So that is a very long cooldown, a 3-minute ultimate, but it does save the Dazzle's life, wastes all the Ember's Remnants, and of course gets that precious 2nd kill on the board against the Bounty Hunter. This lag's pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and just try to do a quick restart. Not going to take more than 30 seconds here, but, you know, I got to try at least once, guys. It's really, really difficult to cast with the Perfect World issues, so I'll try to do my best. Alrighty, so reconnecting back into it here. We did miss a little exchange here with the Beastmaster. He killed the Wyvern with his roar, but then he paid for it with his life as Slardar comes in. Now we're going to look down bottom as Nier is still going to be cut out. It looks like we're still lagging, but, you know, it is what it is. They kill off the Jakiro, and now we're going to see MMC just run down under tower here. It's really nothing he can do in this situation. Pop your Buckler at least, but no. He gets killed, and that's going to put Bounty Hunter very close to level 6.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So right now we've got ourselves a Slardar who is starting to dominate the map. He's got himself a 300 gold
Under attack.
quota before he can pick up a Blink Dagger. And yeah, we've got 5k net worth up on the Templar Assassin. She's been doing pretty good since they got so much momentum against that Shadow Fiend. Dazzle here on the top lane, putting some damage into the Ember Spirit. He's not really in any danger, though. And in fact, he might look to turn it around. Nice little Splinter Blast there, but a Heal Bomb on 3 creeps forces the Ember Spirit back again. He's got that bottle, wants to go for the chains, but the Slate is such a long cooldown here. Man, this Dazzle's playing with fire, but he's actually doing some work against his Ember Spirit, keeping him very much on his toes. And one rotation could spell the death of that Ember. He's going to have to go for the Remnant TP. Meantime, MSC looking for some stack farming, and this ward is still in play. So they might... Oh, sure, it can cancel! No. He makes his TP down bottom, where they're going to be looking to go on Slardar, one of the most farmed members of FTD.B, and he's going to be cleaned up thanks to that Primal Roar. So good catch out there, and following through on it. He still has his Blink Dagger, so it doesn't hurt him, but it certainly helps TRG as they bump up 420 gold on that Shadow Fiend.
Under attack.
KYXY in some trouble, but he does have the Song of the Siren available. Oh, no Searing Chains for you, Mr. Ember Spirit, and the 3-minute cooldown's just short enough for them to not only keep the Naga alive for the moment, but also push heavily on the bottom tier 1. The Searing Chains will not connect, and KYXY will make his way home, tracked or not. Tier 1 down bottom, eating a lot of Liquid Fire. Nier has put 2 points in the spell, but is now actually maxing Ice Path, interestingly enough. Oh, under tower? Nah, there's no way they can go. Just getting a very aggressive position, refreshing this ward in the same exact spot, and just keeping tabs on any jungle play. This is not only going to be shutting down the Shadow Fiend farm now, but the Naga's going to be pretty dependent on these camps as she approaches her Radiance. So, having the vision to make the jump, very, very important, and so far, so good. They've got really good intel into the dire jungle, but at the same time, we do see a couple of wards placed out here. The Dazzle is putting out some nice little defensive wards, one in the lane, and one in a very odd position, but might just give them the intel they need as somebody makes their move into the gap here. Naga Siren, no song. This seems like the time that they want to make the jump, but it's kind of difficult to do so. Running through that dire Observer ward, catching the Slardar right as he makes his move. That's really clutch. Yeah, tier 1 towers will still stand, but with a smoke play down bottom, it might change pretty quickly. We're going to see the Hawk smoked up as well, the Bald Eagle moving in, but now the Beastmaster has revealed himself under the Observer ward, and Hitagi just flies away. Desolator picked up from the Templar Assassin. That's a very fast Desolator. This TA treads Aquila Bottle Dezo. That is an amazing amount of farm very early on. A GPM of 485 before she has any real farming item. Hitagi is going to be caught out here, though, and like I said, the Cold Embrace can only do so much. So, just multiple raises going up against the Winter Wyvern and taking him down quick. The last hit on the tier 1 tower bottom will come before top, so we'll see the SF look to grab it, and I think they'll glyph and TP top. The Ember Spirit's solo there, so they definitely could find an opportunity to deny this tier 1. Looks like they'll keep their focus bottom, and they're going to start deathballing now. This is the part of the draft that is really strong with their lineup. If they keep all 5 together here and they've got everything they need, they can just start pushing heavily, even on the tier 2s. Where a normal draft would have to just go back and spread the map, this draft with the Liquid Fire and all can just keep going and going and going. So we've got the Weave online. They've only got 1 set of Arcane Boots, right? Actually, none. That's going to be some real mana issues as time goes by, and they're all getting tracked up. They'll dust here onto James. And KYXY will lock him down for the kill. The last hit's going to be going to the Shadow Fiend, it looks like. So yeah, sorry, they do have Arcanes on the Naga, forgot about that, but yeah, mana's still going to be hurting unless they're using it extremely efficiently. Splinter Blast also doing some good work in terms of long-range creep clear here, but the Hawk will give them vision of the Slardar, and maybe they can dodge out the Blink Crush. MMC caught in a bad spot. He has a mechanism, though, and they've got the Roar behind him. They want to try to bait this, but it's actually going to go on the Dazzle here. You're going to have to mech up the 2 of them, but no song. Will be the spell committed. They'll weave themselves, and they'll go in. Ice Path and the Macro Pyre following through with the Requiem. They try to cast everything at once, And they do get some good damage out, but no kills just yet. Itagi's still kicking, and Dazzle's actually dropping very low, trying to keep this grave for a core hero, as the Meld Strike does a lot of damage to the Beastmaster. But it's going to be Dazzle that goes down without a grave, and now TA goes hard on Denier. Going to be dropping him down for sure, and then MMC is going to be their next target. Sauter actually goes to the backline. They want more. They kill off the SF quick, and now they get the Beastmaster too. Only KYXY able to run away, and he's not home free just yet. Goes for the TP. There's the crush, and KYXY now caught out as well. Buys the Radiance recipe, which will help in terms of losing no gold for that death. But on top of that, they killed the boar. They killed the courier. And now they look for Roshan. Desolator, Meld Strike, and Amp Damage. This lineup is perfect for Roshan. And now there's absolutely no way for TRG to contest it. With the song, with all those spells and combos that we just got to see, there's a ton of potential to contest the pit. But since they just popped every one of them, this is a very clear free Aegis for FTD.B. And it might be a huge upset for Thunder Robot Gaming. Aegis up for the Templar Assassin. Going to get very aggressive with a Blink Dagger now. It's a perfect combination of items now. With the Blink to go aggressive, you can dive in deep with that second life. And of course, you can also Blink out of the Aegis respawn if you need to disengage. So I like the draft from TRG. It feels like it has a lot of potential, but just so far, FTD have rendered themselves pretty immune to it. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that the TA and Slaughter have had such a good game. They're still topping over the SF in terms of net worth. But the idea of the draft is you open with Song on multiple heroes that are clumped up, you hit them with a big Requiem, Ice Path, and Macropyre all at once, and then you win the fight from there with the Weave armor, either negative armor on your opponents, or in this case they seem to prioritize positive armor on themselves, since TA and Slaughter break it down so easily. But end of the day, that was, I mean, one of their better possible fights, and they still got just absolutely destroyed after the initiation just didn't do enough. But they'll keep doing their thing. Optimistically, 3,300 gold away from Radiance for KYXY. So it's going to be MMC going for a BKB, I'm sure of it. S&Y, like, you'd want to get an S&Y here, but they just need to start fighting again, and BKB is too important for that. Yeah, mech BKB and just kind of stand and fight in multiple situations is going to be too important. They need to start building their own tower momentum and really coming into their own. There is still a lot of physical damage, though, and of course the Winter's Curse that will go through the BKB, so it's not going to be the best pickup, but I still think it's a necessary one, just to fight here and now before the game gets out of hand. If they can win just one fight, Naga's halfway to Radiance, but if they don't, then it's really, really difficult.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
So TA is going to look to split push bottom. That's going to be a very quick tier 2 tower going down. And yeah, the Liquid Fire does some good work, but it just doesn't compare to just some hard right clickers bringing that tower down. And TA is just so good at this. So they'll try to trade it out, but the Glyph is free here on top lane. And yeah, they're going to take the tier 2 for sure. So at least they get something during this Aegis period. It's not like 5 minutes of dead air for TRG where they don't have anything positive to accomplish, but it's just an uneven trade, and it's going to be the TA getting a very efficient progression towards their next item, which, I mean, could be BKB of her own. I think that would actually be really strong against what we're seeing with the whole Requiem Jakiro stuff that I was just saying. Blink Dagger on Bounty Hunter too. Oh, this makes him so elusive. He's able to maneuver so well in the fights, find those tracks, and blink back immediately with no risk to himself. Also, really good for interrupting TPs. Shuriken Toss is not a long-range spell, but you get in right on top of him, and it's no problem. Another reason this item pickup is just so good right now is the simple fact that he has it and the Mechanism Arcanes. You usually have to choose between Mech or Blink, but Bounty Hunter gets it all. Though now it's in a bit of an awkward spot, and they're just going to go ahead and dust him and probably kill him off. They'll commit the Roar for it just to make sure, but that is going to be James down without a track expended. Oh, but he's going to get the mech out. Still doesn't change much. And SF actually takes the last hit there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So, tier 2 going to be hit a few times here, but not going to be going down to deny range just yet. And Naga will just try to AoE farm that up a little bit here. He's still got a decent ways to go. 2,200 gold to Radiance. That is really the timer that everybody's looking towards. In these kinds of situations, there's one kind of understated mechanic. Oh, Dazzle. Got to the grave.
Safe word.
Gets to run. Looks like he'll be okay, unless they blink back on top of him. Oh, blinking in. Templar Assassin going with the help of Slaughter, but Slaughter's blink will be cancelled still. They get the kill on Dazzle, and everybody else walks away. So there's an understated mechanic that you usually don't get to talk about much as a caster, but it's actually really important in these kinds of situations. And that's the fact that the track debuff shows how much gold the enemy is carrying. It's usually not very worthwhile, but for against this Naga Siren, it's actually really valuable. I'm not sure if they'll know that she has the Radiance recipe stash, but whenever they track Naga, or I think even if they track her illusions, it'll show how much gold she's carrying. And it will show that she's still about 2,000 gold away from that relic, which is just such important information for FTD to know how hard they should press. Yeah, and if you see like 1,800 gold on a Naga here at 21 minutes, you're gonna assume that she bought the Radiance recipe already, because there's no way she's that far behind. That would imply that she's like 5,500 net worth, not even. Anyways, as far as net worth values go, we do see a substantial advantage, 18,000, but we're actually going to see a smoke come through, and it's awkward to smoke like that with the Beastmaster as your third hero up the ramp. Maybe they didn't expect a confrontation just yet, but you really want a Disable to be on the front of that movement, otherwise, quick blink back, and we're actually going to see that a blink in on Denier that will, again, keep TRG under pressure. Yeah, they've got, what, 3 Blink Daggers and an Ember Spirit? Like, how do you find somebody if you're not ready to roar the second that you break smoke? It's just so difficult. So yeah, for example here, that you could see carrying 390 gold. They know MMC just bought an item, the BKB, and he clearly won't have buyback as they push in mid. Now we're going to see a nice little chain combo. Dazzle will have to grave himself and try to TP out. No bash attempt, but the crush is off cooldown. So look at that kill, as well as the Beastmaster here, as they just slice and dice right through. They know these heroes don't have buyback, and they're just going to walk right up to the tier 3, it looks like. Now, it is, of course, worth mentioning the Aegis expired a little bit back for the TA, but she replaces that with an item that might be even better for fighting in this BKB. They go in on KO.X.Y. This would be a huge kill if they could find it, but they're one hit away, and KO.X.Y. goes for the song. TP, I would assume. No, he's just standing there and trying to set up near for the kills, but that's not happening. This is not enough damage. They're too far behind, and they are probably about to call out the GG. That was just great execution from FTD. They just get the ability to pounce with the Slardar. It's such a strong pick in this situation. The Wyvern Slardar response to the Shadow Fiend first pick is, I think, one of the reasons they're doing so well here. Just those heroes in general bring a lot to the table in these quick jump situations, and again, Dazzle has no choice but to grave himself. He's going to go down shortly thereafter in spite of it, and that is going to be the last chance for Shadow Fiend to fight. But with one Winter's Curse, BKB or not, this guy bashed down and finished off. The GG comes out. So with a net worth lead of 26,000, an experience lead of 23,000, and a kill score of 22-7, we've got a Game 1 win for FTD.B. So, taking the first game of this 2-game series. As far as their current record in Group D, it's unless it's not updated. No, they played yesterday, right? They lost 2-0 to Wings. So what we're looking at instead is them getting their first win here in Starladder I-League China, which of course is awesome. Just seeing a kind of a new fledgling team finding an opportunity to show what they've got, and man, they really just put on a clinic here. They obviously showed that they can coordinate their offensive really, really well, and it might make that Slardar a higher Phase 1 priority pick than what we saw previously. Even the Bounty Hunter executed a lot better than I expected. Had some issue with Sentry Wards, but he still got that kill in the SF, got the Choreo Snipe, and pretty much through that alone shut down MMC. So really, really good usage of the Bounty Hunter from James, as we've seen from him a couple of times before, and we'll see in Game 2 if FTD.B can close it out for a 3-point swing thanks to the 2-0 of the match, or if it's going to be a 1-1 draw that gives TRG at least 1 point here in Starladder I-League China. Thanks once again for tuning in. Again, sorry about the Perfect World lag. I'm going to go ahead and restart some stuff to try to make sure that I've done everything I can to prevent that, but the show must go on. Thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze. You can follow me on Twitter at BlazeCasting. Almost at 3K followers there. Pretty excited about it. Hype. But yeah, we'll see you guys in just a little bit for Game 2 of our second match for today.
Exciting battle.